The Arctic, once a desolate and frozen wasteland, is rapidly transforming into a region of immense strategic importance. As global temperatures rise, the Arctic ice cap is melting at an alarming rate, opening up new shipping routes and access to vast untapped resources. The Arctic is estimated to hold trillions of dollars worth of oil, natural gas, minerals, and fish stocks, making it a highly coveted prize for nations around the world. This newfound accessibility has sparked a scramble for control and influence in the region, with major powers like the United States, Russia, and China all vying for a piece of the Arctic pie. The melting Arctic ice has opened up two primary shipping routes: the Northwest Passage and the Northern Sea Route. The Northwest Passage, which traverses the Canadian Arctic archipelago, offers a significantly shorter route between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans compared to traditional routes through the Panama Canal. The Northern Sea Route, which runs along the Russian Arctic coast, provides a similar shortcut between Europe and Asia. These new shipping routes have the potential to revolutionize global trade, reducing shipping times and costs. The Arctic's resource wealth is equally enticing. The region is estimated to hold approximately 13% of the world's undiscovered oil reserves and 30% of its undiscovered natural gas reserves. These resources are becoming increasingly accessible as the ice retreats, leading to increased exploration and drilling activities. In addition to oil and gas, the Arctic is rich in minerals such as nickel, copper, zinc, and diamonds. The Arctic's strategic importance is further amplified by its location. The region sits atop the globe, offering a strategic vantage point for military operations and intelligence gathering. Recent years have witnessed a dramatic increase in military activity in the Arctic, raising concerns about a new Cold War brewing in the region. Russia, which has the longest Arctic coastline of any nation, has been particularly assertive in asserting its presence. Moscow has reopened and modernized several Soviet-era military bases in the Arctic, deployed advanced anti-ship and anti-aircraft missile systems, and increased its submarine patrols. Russia has also conducted large-scale military exercises in the region, showcasing its ability to project power in the Arctic. China, despite not having a territorial claim in the Arctic, has also been expanding its presence in the region. Beijing sees the Arctic as a polar Silk Road and a key component of its Belt and Road Initiative. China has invested heavily in Arctic infrastructure projects, including ports, airports, and research stations. The United States, for its part, has been bolstering its military capabilities in the Arctic in response to Russian and Chinese activities. The U.S. has increased its military presence in the region, conducting more frequent air and naval patrols and exercises. One of the most significant recent developments in the Arctic has been the increasing military cooperation between Russia and China. The two countries have conducted joint naval exercises in the region and have even flown joint bomber patrols near Alaska, raising alarm bells in Washington. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, a joint U.S.-Canadian organization responsible for aerospace warning and control for North America, plays a crucial role in monitoring and responding to military activities in the Arctic. NORAD operates a network of radar stations and sensors across the Arctic to detect and track aircraft and missiles. It also maintains a fleet of fighter jets on alert to intercept potential threats. NORAD has been increasingly active in recent years, intercepting Russian and Chinese military aircraft approaching North American airspace. In February 2025, for example, NORAD scrambled CF-18 fighter jets from Canada and F-22 Raptors from the United States to intercept a group of Russian Tu-95 bombers and Su-35 fighter jets that were approaching Alaskan airspace. These interceptions, while routine, highlight the heightened tensions in the region and the importance of NORAD's mission. NORAD is also working to improve its ability to operate in the harsh Arctic environment, conducting exercises and training to ensure its forces are prepared for a range of contingencies. The United States is investing heavily in modernizing its military capabilities in the Arctic to maintain its strategic edge in the region. One key area of focus is icebreaking capability. The U.S. Coast Guard currently operates only one heavy icebreaker, the aging USCGC Polar Star, and one medium icebreaker, the USCGC Healy. In contrast, Russia has a fleet of over 40 icebreakers, including several nuclear-powered vessels. To address this disparity, The U.S. Congress has authorized the construction of 6 new icebreakers, which will significantly enhance the U.S. Coast Guard's ability to operate in the Arctic. The U.S. Air Force is also upgrading its presence in the region, deploying F-35A Lightning II stealth fighters to Alaska and modernizing its air bases. The Air Force is also investing in new surveillance and reconnaissance capabilities, including unmanned aerial vehicles and long-range radar systems, to improve its situational awareness in the region. The U.S. Navy is also enhancing its Arctic capabilities, deploying submarines and surface ships to the region more frequently. Moscow sees the Arctic as crucial to its national security, economic development, and international standing. Russia's Arctic ambitions are driven by several factors, including energy security. Russia is a major energy producer, and the Arctic is believed to hold vast reserves of oil and natural gas. Military strategy. The Arctic is strategically important for Russia's military, providing a bastion for its ballistic missile submarines and a platform for projecting power into the North Atlantic. Russia has invested heavily in modernizing its northern fleet, which is responsible for defending Russia's Arctic interests. The melting Arctic ice is opening up new shipping routes and access to resources, creating economic opportunities for Russia. Moscow hopes to capitalize on these opportunities by developing its Arctic infrastructure and promoting the Northern Sea Route as a major shipping lane. China, despite not having a territorial claim in the Arctic, has declared itself a near-Arctic state and has been increasingly active in the region. Beijing's interest in the Arctic is driven by a combination of economic, strategic, and geopolitical factors, including resource security. China is the world's largest consumer of energy and other natural resources, and it sees the Arctic as a potential source of these resources to fuel its continued economic growth. China has been investing in Arctic exploration and development projects, as well as securing access to resources through partnerships with Arctic nations. The melting Arctic ice is opening up new shipping routes, which could significantly reduce shipping times and costs for Chinese goods traveling between Asia and Europe. China sees the Arctic as a key component of its Belt and Road Initiative and is investing in Arctic infrastructure projects to facilitate trade and transportation. The future of the Arctic remains uncertain, with the potential for both cooperation and conflict. On the one hand, there are opportunities for collaboration among Arctic nations on issues such as scientific research, environmental protection, and search and rescue operations. The Arctic Council, an intergovernmental forum composed of the 8 Arctic states, Canada, Denmark, Greenland, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Russia, Sweden, and the United States, provides a platform for dialogue and cooperation on Arctic issues. However, there are also significant challenges to cooperation in the Arctic, including geopolitical tensions, the rivalry between the United States and Russia, as well as China's growing assertiveness, has increased tensions in the region, making cooperation more difficult. The Arctic's vast resource wealth has the potential to spark conflict, particularly as resources become more accessible due to climate change. The Arctic is becoming increasingly important to global security and the international order. The region's strategic location, resource wealth, and environmental fragility make it a potential flashpoint for conflict and a test case for international cooperation. The outcome of the competition for influence in the Arctic will have significant implications for global power balance. The Arctic is a key theater in the rivalry between the United States, Russia, and China. The increasing activity in the region is testing the limits of these agreements and raising questions about how to manage competition and resolve disputes peacefully. The melting ice cap is opening up new opportunities for economic development and cooperation, but is also creating new challenges to security and stability. The way in which the Arctic's future unfolds will depend on the choices made by the Arctic nations and the broader international community. To ensure a peaceful and prosperous future for the Arctic, it is essential to strengthen international cooperation. Arctic nations should work together through existing institutions like the Arctic Council to address shared challenges, such as environmental protection, search and rescue, and scientific research. The Arctic's unique environment is fragile and vulnerable to the impacts of climate change and human activity. The choices made today will shape the future of this vital region and have far-reaching implications for the international community as a whole.